right, here it is, guys. So I have one of these quick jacks. Great tool. I'd say my biggest complaint is occasionally what'll happen is it seems like not all the pressure gets let off the hydraulic lines once it's all the way down, and if you unconnect or disconnect one, then what'll happen is it'll sometimes blow out an O-ring that's in here, and then it gets trapped in the female component, and then you get this massive leak. Well, Benpak's solution is to just buy a new fitting, and I think they even have a video about this on their website. They say you just got to use it more, and you won't have leaking fittings. Well, these aren't break the bank expensive, but they come in a pair, and from Benpak they're about $50 each with shipping and all that. So I have bought several of these. I'm tired of the problem. So I've decided to show you guys how to disassemble one of these and actually replace it with a dirt cheap O-ring, and it fixes the leak. So let's follow along. First of all, I took some measurements on this outside barrel. This connector here unscrews from this piece here. So what you need to do is get a way to counter hold this. A very crude way would be just to snap some vice grips on there and then just spin this rest of this piece out, and that would fix the problem. Then you get access to the inside. These have some type of a Loctite in them. You could heat it a little bit, but there is an O-ring, be careful, right here. Or actually it's right about here, that makes the seal for the hydraulic fluid so it doesn't come out of these two pieces that mate together. So I don't think I'd heat it a lot. What I did is I measured this diameter, and I think it's about 820 thou, something like that. And I just took a piece of aluminum and machined out a hole with the matching diameter here. I'll show it to you, just like so. And then I just ran it up through the bandsaw and slit it so that then we could just grab the body of this housing. Sorry, I forgot my tripod, so I'm just kind of hand holding this today. Anyway, so this, you can see, grabs on here and here, like so, to grab that, just put it in the vise, and then we're going to spin this off. So let's go over to the vise and I'll show it to you. All right, here we are in the vise. So you can see, pretty self-explanatory. These two pieces of aluminum just grab on here and here. We're pinching it pretty tight on the body. Grab it a little further down so it's not up on the threads helping bind this, because we already got to fight the Loctite that's on here. I'm just using a big crescent wrench. End wrench would be probably a good idea that fits this. I'm sure it's a metric size of some sort. Anyway, here we go. There we go. And it's starting to spin off. So once we break it free, it's pretty straightforward from here. We're just going to take this piece out like so. That's going to open up. Boom, and expose. Here's that Loctite material I was talking about. You can see down in there, there's the O-ring we were talking about. So this side's pretty simple. There's this little like spring retainer thing. It bottoms out and then pushes on the opposite side to help open up the female component. Then there's a spring, and then just simply a plunger lives down there. And this is where the issue is. So there's a hydraulic lip seal that's facing, I believe it's inward to keep the high pressure in, and then it's backed with an O-ring. So what happens is that O-ring comes out, and then it's just that hydraulic seal, and that hydraulic seal starts leaking without the O-ring. So we're gonna go back over to the surface plate that's covered in a bunch of crap, and I'll show you in detail the O-ring I'm talking about. Okay, here we are. These are the pieces. So that's the body that snaps in and meets the mating part. This is the part that actually has a problem. So you can see that. See how that white ring is there? That's like the high pressure seal. And then see how there's a little bit of O-ring there, but it's torn? That's the piece that gets chewed out, and that's the piece we're going to be replacing. This is a spring that actuates this plunger, which this plunger goes inside here, down in the middle, and that's what makes the flush face right here. The spring then goes on the back side of this plunger, just like so, and this piece goes on the back side of that spring. So these fit in together like this. That goes in there, and this gets screwed in the back just to hold it all together. All right, so what we're gonna do is pull that O-ring out of there, just using our pick set, and then replace it with a new O-ring. I found a good replacement O-ring would be probably one that's about 8.8 in outside or inside diameter by about 10.6 millimeters outside diameter. I actually just picked up a cheap set at Harbor Freight that happened to have one that was pretty freaking close. So that seems to be working pretty well. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to be doing this through the camera, so it's a little, bear with me. I'm going to zoom in here. There we go. Got the rest of that chunk of O-ring out. So that's the broken one. Sorry about all the garbage here on the surface plate. The shop's a mess. Alright, I'm going to go pull out an O-ring here that we're going to replace it with. So here's the new O-ring we're going to use right here. Like I said, this is pretty close and seems to be working well. So I'm just going to try to fit this underneath here. So you got to get started in that groove there. So I'm going to grab one of my picks here and just kind of start working it in. Again, this is a lot harder to do indirectly looking through the camera than it is with my direct vision. Remember, the O-ring goes behind this white seal. If you put it the other way, it's going to leak. There we go. You can see I just kind of got it started in there. So now I'm just going to tuck it the rest of the way in. There it is, like that. So that's kind of what we're dealing with there. And now it's pretty much good as new. Here's a, I'm going to put the plunger back in. So this piece here is going to go right back down in here, like so. I just dropped that in there, and then actually I found my Klein nut driver just fits right over this plunger, and push it down and it's going to just pop through like that. Then all that goes on top of this is obviously is your spring. Just put that over that stem. Put this piece right over here. Put a dab, and I mean a dab because these, like I said, I've had at least 5 of these fittings do this to me now. Probably just a quick dab of Loctite, and then this is going to just screw on there like so. And then we'll go back to the vise and just tighten her back down, and boom, presto, your fitting won't leak anymore, the male portion. And if you guys like to see a disassembly on the female, I've done that as well. Let me know in the comments if you want to. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, that's about all there is to it. So hope that saves you 50 or 100 bucks. And yeah, the O-rings are dirt cheap. You can do this over and over. Anyway, best of luck. Like I said, if you need any help or have any questions, leave them in the comments down there. All right, that's all for now.